So my mom's brother passed away some times ago, and his whole village are people that do acts of bid'ah. So yesterday, his family, I mean like his wife and children, they do an event because it's 40 days or 100 days after his death. I'm not sure how many days. And in the event, they invite an ustad and a lot of men and orphan, and they sit in the living room. The ustad will lead the dua and zikr loudly. And they invite my mom. My mom doesn't want to get involved in those things, but she was kind of conflicted because if she doesn't come, the relatives would think she becomes distant and arrogant and get included in wrong sect. So she travels 6 hours to get there yesterday without mahram, and because she's there, she helped the cooking for the people that do the dua. What is your opinion on this? And please give advice on what to do next time someone invite us again, because this situation comes often. Jazakallahu khair, Sheikh.
Wajazakum. First of all, may Allah Azza wa Jal grant all those who died from our relatives and loved ones forgiveness, mercy, and expand their graves and fill it with favors and blessings of Allah Azza wa Jal. Secondly, Islam is the most beautiful religion due to its authenticity and simplicity. So there is no complication in Islam. There is no hardship in Islam. But in order to preserve Islam, we must follow and comply with Allah's orders and instructions and with the Prophet's Sunnah alayhi salatu wasalam. And this is the only way that this religion can remain till the end of time. And this is exactly what the enemies of Islam are trying their level best on different levels to diminish or demolish. So if they cannot demolish it entirely, they will try to diminish it as much as possible. Through what? Through such innovations. The Prophet ﷺ said, as Mother Aisha narrated, whoever innovates in our religion what's not part of it, this is rejected. Allah will not accept it. So you ask yourself, has any of the companions celebrated the 40th anniversary of a deceased? You will find that the Prophet never did it, ﷺ. The companions had never done it. The tabi'een had never done it. Tabi'een, etc. Nobody from the Muslim Ummah has engaged in such rituals. Where did we get it from? We got it from the pharaohs. The pharaohs, those were 5,000 years ago. Yep, they were pagans. They were idol worshippers. And they thought that when their pharaohs died, they will be resurrected after 40 days, and that's why they used to put jewelry in their tombs and their pyramids and where they were buried, and sometimes even animals, livestock animals, because they thought that they're going to come back to life. Unfortunately, these ignorant Muslims are practicing the same practices. How did they get it? From shaitan. Satan came to them and said, it's a good thing. Doesn't it express your love to the deceased? Surely does. Let's do it. But the Prophet didn't do it. Well, the Prophet didn't do a lot of things. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. This is how they diminish or demolish Islam. And those who are doing this, they're causing hardship to themselves. Your mom traveling without a mahram. So that's sin. That's a sin. Traveling for 6 hours to do what? To please Allah? No. To please those ignorant people in their innovation and collaborating with them. And this is not the only thing, Zahra. In your country and in other Muslim countries, all over the Muslim world, the Muslims are engaged in major innovations. Sometimes in shirk, plain shirk. And that's why they warn you and they threaten you from following people like us, who call you to simply follow the Quran and the Sunnah. You love the Prophet ﷺ? I love the Prophet ﷺ. Let's follow his Sunnah. These people say, don't. Whoa, you don't want us to follow the Sunnah? Said, no. You should follow us only. Leave the Quran, you cannot understand it. Leave the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. It's too difficult for you to understand. Who should we follow? Follow us with our big turbans and with our long prayer beads, and with our innovations in Islam. This is where you take your Islam from. We, on the other hand, say, don't follow us. Follow the Quran and the Sunnah. Here's the Quran and the Sunnah. It's very simple. They don't want you to do this. And this is why they have divided the Muslims. And this is why those in control, those in authority, these muftis, these scholars of such areas dominate their flock. And they milk them for money and for power. And whatever Simon says, they have to comply. Liberate yourself. Free yourself by following Allah's commands and the Prophet ﷺ Sunnah through the understanding of the righteous three favorite generations. This is what we call people to. And it doesn't cost much. Actually, it doesn't cost anything. But it liberates you. It makes you worship Allah directly, not through these monks and priests who try to embezzle people, building tombs over graves, building shrines, and asking people to worship other than Allah Azza wa Jal, like such people. May Allah guide the Ummah back to Islam.